on the machines, tonight with a special battle report. For this time, we're not simply playing scenarios, we're actually both playing, testing and revising a scenario by somebody else. The guys behind the Tabletop Gamers featured a scenario on their blog called Ambuscade. Aridus and me gave it some tries and then we applied our own changes, some time ago. The finished scenario featured in this battle report, which I will present to you before the battle report proper, we named Bait and Bludgeon. The point size is 35 points and the game stars two old favorites, Alexandra Zerkova and Victoria Haley. Enjoy! In the Bait and Bludgeon scenario, players first dice off to determine who goes first and who goes second as regular. In addition, the one who goes first will be the one setting the trap, while the other one will spring it. To do so, the first player then places between 1/5 and half of his army points worth of models within an area centered in the middle of the board, measuring 12 inches in diameter. All models not placed in this manner gain the ambush rule and are placed using that rule, ignoring that back of deployment zone reference. Afterwards, the second player places his army anywhere on the board at least 12 inches away from any enemy models. Either player wins by taking out all enemy casters. The player going second has the additional option of winning by controlling the center deployment area. So this is our initial deployment. Aridus went with Signa and Victoria Haley, and I brought a Lady Z hunting wolves tier 4 list. I'm having a gamer crush on that tier. Anyways, he deployed a Firefly, a Storm Tower and the Black 13th Gunmage strike team as his bait in the center. I'm sorry, evil overlady, but the princess is in another castello. So I deployed Lady Z, Mikael the Marauder, Alexandra the Spriggan, and her first Vanguard Vance, a Grey Laternian, a min unit of Kayazi Assassins with Underboss, a unit of Widowmakers, a Cordon Lord, a Widowmaker Marksman, and Gorman the Wolf. His first turn starts with a Storm Tower shot which falls short, the Firefly moving and firing ineffectively at Alexander, and the Black 13th moving and firing at the Kayazi Assassins. The template you see here resembles both the location of the Signal Flare and the Mage Storm, which took out two assassins. I allocate the focus to Alexander. The Widowmakers move through the forest, some in range of the Black 13th, but they miss. The Marksman follows, but he puts a round into the Firefly for a little damage. The Cordon Lord moves and power boosts Mikael, who then runs. Alexander runs. Gorman moves and throws a smoke bombs to cover his back. I run the Kayazi Assassins to engage the Black 13th and the Grey Laternian. That is, one of them frostbites the Storm Tower. Zerkova moves up, puts up Watcher and hawks the rest of her focus. The Vanguard walks up behind her. Round 2, and via ambush, Aridus deploys Victoria Haley with Thorn and a Stormclad, Semicorn and the Devil Dogs, and Jonas Murdoch, two Stormsmiths and the Squire. Most of them in Lady Zed's back arc. So here's a tip. Don't forget about the scenario, guys. Especially not if it can be quite unforgiving. All that was saving me from a bad pummeling right now were 4 focus and a Vanguard. Haley moves first, casts Temporal Barrier, and something else but I can't remember, either Arcane Bolt or Shield. The point is that she triggers Watcher, and the Vanguard moves in the way of the Devil Dogs certainly coming for me. They do, and I move Alexander once, but then I decide to try and move Mikael back up, so he could actually threaten Haley herself. But Aridus gets wind of that maneuver, and the other Devil Dogs stand back far enough, leaving Mikael flapping in the wind, right in front of the Stormclad. The Devil Dogs then pummel Vance, but he proves quite resilient. The Stormclad moves up and swings at Mikael for some damage. Thorn moves into the forest. The Stormsmiths triangulate the heck out of the Kayazi, leaving the few survivors and the tough underboss to be gunfighted by the Black 13th. Okay, I just luckily escaped the trap, so I think the safest way out is by barging through the front door. Zerkova upkeeps Watcher and Hawk's focus. The Cordon Lord moves and power boosts Mikael. Then the Turnian moves and frostbites a Stormsmith and 2/3 of the Black 13th. Take that! Gorman runs. The Marksman puts another round into the Firefly. Then Zerkova moves up, casts Force Blast on Vance, freeing him up, and concludes with a fully boosted Ghost Stoned Razor Wind at Haley, which does a lot of damage, but not as outrageous damage as I had hoped for. I still had one trick to go by, though. The Widowmakers move back and snipe down 1 or 2 Devil Dogs. Vance gets up, and as Haley is barely not within reach, he simply stabs another Devil Dog. Then Mikhail goes by moving a little, and then he combo slams the poor Squire through Haley. He hits with his boosted attack, and the Squire is smashed into tiny bits on Vance's hull, with Vance taking a little damage and Haley surviving on 1 point of health. Dang it. Now I have to survive another round, and Zerkova's already scratched. Luckily, Haley isn't in the best of positions herself, so we'll see. And here comes another advantage of our virtual tabletop. As it was getting late, and Arundus was getting quite tired, I resisted to accept his first half-assed assassination attempt, and we just called it a day. And then we just recreated the battlefield as it is on the next day, and then returned to round 3. Haley assigns 1 focus to Thorn, I think, and has nothing to upkeep. Thorn then activates, running to the other side of the forest. The Devil Dogs charge and scrap Vance. The Stormclad smashes Mikhail and crits, creating a lightning chain which forces Jonas Murdoch to be tough, leaves Haley unharmed, and fries the Devil Dog. Haley activates, forfeits movement, and then casts both Temporal Barrier and an Arcane Bolt on Zerkova through Thorn, which deals some damage. Yes, I forgot about the Orgoth seal here, which would have ended the game right then. She then feeds, I think. But the combined efforts of the Firefly, the Black 13th member, and the Stormsmith cannot take Zerkova out. In my turn, I keep all my focus, upkeep Watcher, and I make it quick and cast a fully boosted Ghost on Razorwind at Haley again, this time taking her out. Zerkova wins! In hindsight, well, our Bait and Bludgeon scenario works, but it is tough. If you lose, 80% of that loss are probably due to scenario conditions. All scenarios are worth bearing in mind, but this can easily double back on you. That's why we introduced the additional win condition for the attacker through controlling the middle, so you just can't leave your refuge there as a trap. You really can't play the first turns of Bait and Bludgeon like your regular game. You have to keep the scenario in mind from the get-go. I encourage you all to give it a try. The rules are found on the blog as well, but only to shake things up every once in a while. Next issue will be another battle report versus Hordes, and until then, farewell.